what are like the biggest common misconceptions you get?
As far as the model?
As far as being a model.
Stuck up, pretty privileged. That one is frustrating because it's like, I mean, obviously you don't have these days you don't have to be like whatever pretty or perfect to be a model, but it's like people are like, oh, you're probably stuck up or whatever, and it's like that's the complete opposite, or that things got handed to you, or you had to do certain things to get to a certain place, and it's like that's not like that for everybody. So that one for sure is kind of like when I tell people I model, because everyone does it these days, it's just kind of like a brush off the shoulder, like cool. Anyway, so, and it's like, okay, I don't even get a chance to
break it down.
Explain what I do, or
like as you're saying that, they're already like, they're not listening to you to listen. They're listening with already like a preconceived notion or something in their head. Like, they're already like, judging. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So sometimes people ask, and I'll make up anything. Like, I work in a library.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a librarian.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hypocritical AF podcast. I'm your host, Albert Fig, and in this week's special episode, we got a good one. We got the one and only Deja Janea. What's up with it? Hey, welcome to the show.
I love your podcast.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I always like whenever we, you know, because for y'all that don't know, this is like our second time meeting. You know, first time officially was in Oakland. Was at a private listening party for Joe. Shout out Joe. Shout out Chim. That place. Shout out to the Commune, right? What was it called? Commune.
I don't remember the name, but it was a really nice place.
The Commune spot, in Oakland, 1716 Broadway. I know the address.
He knows the details.
Because I took the lift. I had to take the lift there. But and shout out to the owner. We were able to meet her too, and we were talking about the spa, and she was giving us like a little preview, like background about how she was able to get it and everything too. And I was like, yo, this spa was like, I was talking to a Kodak too, and I was saying like it's the perfect like size as far as like not too big, not too small, but like a good intimate setting that's like, you know, the lighting was good, the acoustics was good.
Yeah, and, she was really cool. Her name was Benta. She was really
that's right.
Sweet woman, Black owned business, and it's a beautiful place. Yeah, so.
I definitely could see more, you know, things popping off right there.
For sure.
Maybe even you know, a spot where Chim could do is keep your Chim up Fridays, you know?
For sure.
You never know. It's a good little spot we could do right there.
Exactly.
But so we were at the, you know, the private listening party, and I had, no lie, I think that was like one of the better, most, I guess just like benefiting experiences. You know what I mean? Like, cause I got to like be around so many creative people.
Yeah.
And also it's like a infectious energy, you know, that you get. And it's just like, you're like, this is excellence right here. This is the come up. This is the grind. This is everything that we all, you know, love and endure.
Yeah.
So it was cool to be a part of that, you know, and that's when we got to talking a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in a lot of different things, you know. So for starters, for number one, tell me, I guess, a little bit about yourself before we start getting into your background.
For sure.
Okay.
So, yes, my name is Deja Janea. I'm a professional model. Been doing it for 8 years. Started in 2014. I'm from Delaware.
Yeah.
So, I had a friend who was into photography, and she wanted to kind of like start taking photos. And at this time, I was studying to go into the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like, yeah, sure. But I've always been into fashion. I've always been into like, you know, just hairstyles and clothes. So I would style myself, creative direct, all that. And then started taking photos with her. And the rest was history from there. So I'm from Delaware, originally from Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, okay.
But raised in Delaware. I graduated from Middletown High School. I've been living in Los Angeles for about 6 years now.
6 years?
Pursuing modeling and kind of dabbled into a lot of other things, but modeling is my full-time thing. So.
Yeah, because I was checking your stuff out, and amongst other things, you have music going on, brand owner as well. You got your own clothing line, right?
Yep. Divinely Healed. So music started in 2019. I've come from a musical family, so I'm the youngest of three. My brother and my sister, Sean Ray and Chanel Ray, they make music. So kind of watched them grow in their careers. And yeah, I guess it just singing runs in the family because they're singers as well.
For sure.
So my brother's an engineer. He also has his own studio called Converted Collective in Hollywood.
Oh, shouts out to him.
Yeah, so he engineered all of my music. And then, just started with that. My friend Bash, he did all my Sebastian CB4. He worked with Wiz Khalifa. He's working with Burner.
Oh, dope.
And a bunch of people. He did all my videos. Incredible artist. So music kind of started from there. I wrote all my music. It was experimenting, going through some things, but I wanted to write about like love songs. So that's like Ocean Deep. That's a love song. New Chapter is getting over a hard time. And then I have a song. Eucalyptus was my first single, and that was a love song. And then as far as... A lot of love. Yeah, a lot of love in me. Okay, I love love. I love people.
Hard.
Yes.
I'm a die hard too, so don't worry.
Yeah, I'm big on that. So my clothing brand, Divinely Healed, was just an athletic loungewear that I love working out. I love eating healthy. Right. I also have like a page called Divinely Healthful where I like share recipes, juicing, eating healthy. So I wanted to do Divinely Healed to kind of match that brand. So
the Divinely, I'll tell you what, the juicing is like really underrated. We've done the most was a 3-day juice cleanse, but I hear about the 5 ones. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I hear about the 5-day one, I get like, I don't know, is it tough? Like, because then they have tough. They have like a spicy one, and then they have like it's like they say it's like a pro version of it, so it's like a super spicy one. Oh. And I get nervous of it because I'm like, I don't know, can I do that? You know, is that something I can do? It's the 3 days I could do for sure.
Yeah, the most I've done is 4, but I'm actually about to do one starting next week.
Hey, so funny.
I've been eating too. Whenever I come to Sacramento, I'm just always like. Chimdom just likes to feed me all types of food. He's actually ordering pizza right now.
That's funny. I literally was thinking the same exact thing. And I was just talking to my girl about it too. We were saying like usually Mondays, because sometimes we'll have like some weekends where we're pretty bad, we're pretty damn bad. And then some weekends are cool too. But we like to do a lot of fasting. So sometimes we'll do and I'll talk about it on my Instagram a lot too. I'll say we do like 24-hour water fasts if we can too. We'll do 48-hour water fasts. And a lot of people like will hit us up about it too, and like how does it work? And we'll do it. Usually a normal fasting day will be 16 hours of no eating, and then an 8-hour period of eating.
Okay.
And you can kind of gauge your time, but usually it'll be like by 7 p.m. That'll be like normal food past 7, and I won't eat till about 12 afternoon the next day.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, it's really good to kind of reset your gut. So it's like when you're eating bad or drinking a lot, you don't. It's easy for me. It's easier to like get back into a better eating routine if I fast, because my body just like takes the greens better versus just like eating all this junk and then just randomly eating vegetables. It's like it doesn't really work. So I would recommend juicing.
I mean that, and also with you, with modeling, I'm pretty sure you've had that like dialed down, right?
Yeah, for sure. Modeling for sure keeps me on my toes. That's why I'm like, can't be eating pizza all day.
Right. And not just that too, but like the last 3 days, y'all been like, all over the place, right? And
honestly, this year has been one of the busiest years that I've ever got a little.
I'm like, hold on, hater. But then tomorrow, y'all dipping off back to LA too?
Yep. Taking that 5-hour drive.
That's a mob.
So yeah, it's a nice drive though. Yeah. It's pretty peaceful.
Yeah, a lot of times
back to the grind.
I think of it like therapeutic because sometimes I'll do that drive too, and I don't mind it, especially like when you've done it so many times. Like I've gotten used to doing the drive, so even if it's like I'll say like around a good time to leave that I found is like 12.
Okay.
Or if not, sometimes at nighttime. Really? I even enjoy those too because it's like those are you're not like in a rush. You're not like in traffic. Everything seems to be slowed down.
Yeah,
so then,
no one's really on the road.
You could kind of like, listen to some music. You can listen to your podcasting, but it's kind of weird. Like I find myself during the day, I'll listen to podcasts, but then at night, I'll listen to music.
Okay.
To kind of, because I love R&B too. So a lot of times I'm like just using that to just chill, mellow out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I'm the passenger princess, so I just be doing my thing on the side while he's driving.
You take control over the aux or the Bluetooth sometimes?
I do. He likes my music, so that's one thing we do have in common.
Yeah, but, it makes sense, with Chin producing and everything, and then you obviously with your background and everything, it goes hand to hand.
Yes,
But y'all, like I said, these past few days, I'm sure it's been
it's been nonstop for sure. Today I finally got like a nice nap, but it's funny because whenever I come to SAC, that's like my chill time. So I'm always like sleeping and just chilling all day because it's my only downtime really.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the grind tomorrow.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Love that. It was, I was thinking about this earlier, and I was, because every time I think about LA, I have I literally have a bunch of homies out there. I have family that live kind of a little bit outside, like LA area.
Okay.
Family in San Diego, Temecula. I got, what's the other one? Oceans? No, not Oceanside. That's one of my other homies that stay out there. But I got every time, everywhere I go, there's like a spot for me to like kind of hang out or link up with. And I'm trying to figure out, or I guess learn about more of the what's it called? The like pop up food places. God, what is it called? It's slipping my mind right now, but LA has this.
The
markets, maybe downtown markets, I think,
like food pop up, like
food.
I know they have a lot of like food trucks where they like park up in North Hollywood. It'll be like a line of all different food trucks. There's the Grand Central Market, which has it's like a marketplace for food, fruits and veggies, and really good food. But I'm trying to think what you're talking about.
It's slipping my mind. I was thinking about it earlier, but maybe I'm just thinking about food way too much. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just the food thing that I'm thinking about too much.
Yeah, there's a lot of food out there. It's endless.
I brought that up because I was going to say, or maybe it was food. Okay. How tough is it to stay like under control with your diet and everything being down there?
It is definitely tough. Especially I'm in my late 20s. Sheesh.
Hey, you put another 10 on that.
I'm not in my 30s.
Yeah. Trust me,
I'm in my late 20s now, so my body has definitely changed. So I can't really just have fun with food as much as I used to. So I definitely have to like stay on top of my game. Because sometimes like being on set, like I was just on set for 5 months straight, and I put on a good maybe 10 to 15 pounds because just 16 hours a day on set all day, and we're just eating and just working. So it's really easy to kind of lose balance and lose track of like working out and everything. But that's one thing, being disciplined is key. Like I have to stay disciplined. I have to be the one that's like, no, let's eat some fruits, or let's do a juice cleanse, or let's work out. So I'm working with the trainer right now to kind of get back on my A game. Because I've always been very active. I used to play basketball back in high school. And like I said, military, I was in ROTC, so I have that like muscle memory, luckily. But it's definitely tough. I do eat way too much, but that's one thing I enjoy about life, so that won't ever change. I just moderation.
Moderation is key. Moderation is key, and especially when you include the fasting, then you can get away with that.
Exactly.
You'll be surprised how much bloat and inflammation you can get away.
Yeah.
So that's a cheat code for that one.
Exactly. That's the cheat code.
Yeah.
Juice, and you won't see no more bloating.
Yeah. So. Facts. But so ROTC, you had mentioned about you were thinking about joining the Air Force. How did that, what was up with that?
Well, so my mom just kind of like encouraged me to be in ROTC, which I was, I didn't want to do it at first, but it was really a great experience for me to just kind of learn discipline, to learn like routine. I was like flight commander in my class, like really close with my chief commander and major. But that came about with her. And then obviously with ROTC, you're just influenced to join the military, which I was going to at the time, but the ASVAB was hard for me to really pass. So, and there were some other things in my way that didn't really support, but everything happens for a reason. I feel like if I went to the military, I wouldn't be where I am as far as modeling.
Right.
I don't know, but I don't think I would be. But it kind of it was a passion for a little bit, and then it just wasn't really. I don't think it was my passion at that too. Like my grandfather, my mom's dad, he was in the military. My mom's her ex-husband, he was in the military. So it was, and then my uncle was in the military. So it was just kind of like the right thing to do, I guess. And at that time, I didn't know like who I was, what I wanted to do. I didn't know anything. I was like 16, 17. So I was like, sure.
And that's how the military gets you for a lot of times. They really do. They'll be like, you can't figure this out. Don't worry. If you don't got this, we have, You
have us. And they bribe you with not bribe, but there is a lot of good benefits where they kind of set you up for life.
They incentivize you. I went, that's literally, I went in Well, I enlisted. Actually, I was 17.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was 17 and a half.
Okay.
I had to get permit. Like my recruiter drove me to, did I have a car at the time? I forget. But he drove me to my grandparents' house where my mom's, we were staying at. And he was in the living room and my mom had to sign for me to enlist because I wasn't of age. And so I'll never forget this too. So she was just like, no, I don't want to sign this. And I was like, why not, Mom? What do you want to sign? You know, she literally goes, no, I don't want, you're going to die. And I was like, man. So like,
it's fear of that. Yeah.
Right. So at first I'm thinking, because I was going in for a combat MOS. And so at that time I was just thinking like, no, like, what are you talking about? You're crazy, you know? But in hindsight, you know, especially being a parent now, I can definitely understand why she was thinking like that. And I could, definitely understand her concerns for something like that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely putting your life on the line for the country. You never know when.
And then the age, like I said, like what you were talking about too, it was like 17 for me. And it was just like, I don't know what else I was going to do.
Right. It sounds right. And it's like, oh, there's money. Oh, there's benefits. So luckily that path didn't really work out for me. But I wouldn't I'd recommend it to anybody who's thinking of it because it's a great community from what I remember. That was years ago. but yeah, so that kind of just transitioned into my modeling career from, like I said, my friend. And then I just started doing small shoots in Philadelphia for local brands. And then I started like my Instagram and really my career pretty much picked up from Instagram. So I'm very grateful for Instagram. It's allowed me to meet so many dope people. And like I've had I had a billboard in Times Square in 2018 and I got booked from the job through Instagram.
Let's go. Come on now. Let's go.
Thank you. I actually still work with that brand. It's called Sensational Hair and they're a braiding hair company. So
that's dope.
My face is in all stores all around the world.
That's amazing. Yeah. So truly, truly amazing. Like that. I can't even imagine that feeling of seeing, your face up there in Times Square.
I definitely cried.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Come on.
And it was a few years ago. I know I'm going to have another one soon, so be on the lookout. But it still touches me because it's like, wow, like that was a goal that I had when I really got serious about modeling. Because I started, like I said, I started modeling in 2013, but I told myself that I wouldn't call myself a model until I was signed. So I got signed in 2016, and that's when I was like, oh, wow, I could really do this.
Oh, yeah. It's a model.
So then that happened. Yeah, and I just met people. And
that's amazing.
It's been crazy. Yo. And I won't ever question like the path. I just feel like everything happens for a reason. And I just sometimes when I get discouraged, when I'm like, am I doing right? And I'm just like, then my agent's like, hey, you got a job for this. Something's
you know? So. That's amazing. Yeah. And I think that's it goes what's the word I'm looking for? It goes without saying. Yeah, because a lot of the times, and I've said this probably, I don't know how many times in the podcast before, we move at like 100 miles per hour a lot of the times, we don't stop and, smell the roses enough,
That's so true.
And especially in your lane, it's something that's it's just going to be the next thing, the next thing. And I'm sure at times it could be, overwhelming, especially, when you talk about projects or a set that you were sitting on for like 5-6 months. I'm sure in those 5-6 months, I don't know 100%, but I'm pretty sure there's times where you're just like, man, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely tough. Thank you for acknowledging that. Because there is times where it's like, you accomplish a goal and you're like, all right, on to the next. And my family had to always like talk to me about that because I would do stuff like the billboard or work for Beyonce or like work for all these big companies that I've worked for, Google, like all these companies. And I'll do it. And then it's like, okay, what's next? And it's like, no, like you need to be proud of yourself and acknowledge that. So I'm actually in a place now for the first time in my life where I'm like smelling the roses, where I'm like, wow, like I put in work, I put in time, I put in energy, and like to see where I am now. And I know I still have a long way to go, but it's like, it's good to really look back and like acknowledge your growth or your hard work. Because then if not, you're never going to be satisfied. And then you're going to look up, be 70 years old and not be proud to say yourself.
Right, you look back like what?
Yeah, like, so.
That is something that I think, again, that all of us, we need to do more, myself included. I definitely talk about that a lot. And it is just, that's also a part of this life process, we're figuring it out as we go, and maybe that point of reflection will come at some point in the future. And that's not to say that it's a bad thing too, it's as long as we take the time to enjoy the moments. You know, like it sounds kind of corny. This sounds like, you know, like stupendous, but if in those moments we don't, you know, take the time to pause or maybe put the phone down and you appreciate it, you know, those I found as I, you know, get older, you know, I'm actually 30. So it's like,
okay, 30 club.
So, you know, so it's like, I'm learning more of that too, as I grow, whether it's, you know, in this lane of, you know, podcasting and interviewing, but also meeting the people that I meet and the interactions and the engagements that I get, you know, throughout, you know, the process that comes with this, or whether that is, you know, being a father. I'm learning more to do that, make sure that I take the time with that. And I think you of all people would understand that, you know, more than me, obviously being what you're doing. Cause like I said, that's popping. I mean, you mentioned it before, Beyonce and Google, and I don't even know how many,
it's sad that I've worked so much that like off the top of my head, I can't really tell you the jobs that I've done. I have to I have a list of jobs because I have to like, I've been for the past 6 years, it's literally been like, boom, 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 boom. What's next? What's next?
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh shoot. Like, wow, I'm doing some big things and I'm actually able to say I'm proud of myself and I haven't been able to, but it's also like a slap in the face to God when you're like, praying for these things and he gives you these things and then you're just kind of like, well, that's not good enough, or I'm not doing good enough, or so I had to like take, you know, a step back and just kind of realize like my journey is my journey. Obviously with social media, we look at all social media, people are posting videos every second of the day.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of it is not that it's not real, but sometimes it's, you know, a little fabricated. So when you're looking on Instagram and you're seeing all these things that people are doing, you just start to feel like you're not doing enough. So those are the times where I log off of Instagram because I realize like it can overstimulate you. Looking at all these things, you're like, you could just have accomplished a major goal that you did and you get on Instagram and you're like, dang, now I got to get a house, or now I got to get a car, and now I got to, and it's like and that thing that you just worked so hard for is kind of like just, oh, cool. All right, on to the next. And that's not healthy.
Yeah, it's also, and then you start to get to look at everything and then you're comparing, you know, it's one of that's like the one of my favorite quotes ever is comparison is the thief of joy, you know, and it sucks that we do, again, this is we talked about this plenty of times, but it's the pros and cons of social media. You know, there's a lot of great beneficial things that came from it, but there's also like that, you know, that dark side that we kind of just brush under and we kind of were just like, but we're good, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And it's a lot of, you know, careers, businesses, opportunities and all this stuff that's created from social media. It also comes at a toll for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
It's also, I mean, it's like too much of anything isn't good. So it's
exactly.
like taking things into doses. So now I treat my Instagram like a business, and it's like, okay, cool. If I find myself scrolling too much, or if I'm not like utilizing it in a useful way, I get off of it because it's not doing me any good.
Right,
you know?
right.
So
do you get pressured by any of that, by the way, like trying to make it like, maybe you want to do like advertise as much of your, you know, business and your product versus let me put a family picture, or let me not put a family picture, or
no, for sure. I just recently kind of found my niche recently after having Instagram since like 2015. And because it would be like, how do I post my modeling photos, my everyday photos, and post about God, or post about things that I'm actually into or interested in? How do I share that while keeping people still interested? Because some people may follow me just for my modeling pics, and then I post about God, or I post about hiking or whatever, and they're like, they don't want to follow me. Or some people may follow me because I talk about God, and then so it's definitely been a balance. But like I said, having time to sit back and reflect on like who I am, what I'm doing, what I want has helped me realize like, okay, cool. So this is how I balance. So like with my Instagram stories, I'll be more personable on there. My page is just my professional, and I'll add in like you'll see a few pictures here and there where it's like my everyday life. So it's definitely a lot of pressure for sure, especially when I'm trying to grow my following, because there's times where I feel like, dang, right now I have like 41K, and sometimes I'm like, I want more, obviously. To work with brands, they look for people who have like 100K, a million, or whatever. So that sometimes gets the best of me, but I've learned like if there was 40 million people in this room right now, like sometimes I have to think like that.
Like how many
people?
No, I definitely feel, you know, I feel where you're coming from, because I've also heard about people they have that battle too, where they're like they want to post this but they don't want to, and they want to do this, and it sucks because sometimes they'll say that they won't necessarily get as much engagement as they would. So say if they post like a fire selfie and it's like boom, the interactions are up here, but then they post like a family pic and it's like down here.
Yeah.
And they'll say that they've had, like social media managers or agents that will look at their analytics and then they'll kind of like not judge them for that, but they'll use that as leverage towards them. And they'll be like, well, this month your numbers were down or we didn't get as much likes on this. So then it's like they feel the pressure to be like, okay, post another
selfie or post whatever you think is working, which you just really never know with Instagram. The crazy thing is there's so many pictures that I've had that had like, I don't know, 300 likes when sometimes I'll average like 1,000. And I've gotten booked off of those photos that had only 300 likes. Like I've gotten people reach out and they're like, I love this photo, or it didn't get as much engagement as I'm used to. So it's just really a hit or miss, but you just have to kind of find your niche. And I do like that about TikTok is, I was saying this the other day, is like there's certain platforms for everything. Twitter, TikTok. So you just kind of have to figure out how you want to leverage the apps. So
no, that's true. I'm learning that too because I do the clips for these as much as I can. And it's so weird because I'll use the same clip, but I'll put it, across all whatever social media that we have. And it's interesting the way some of the apps will grab ones more than the others. We just had Joe on and I made a clip. I had sent it to him first. I think we talked about it a little bit too, but it was about, his father and his last moments and everything. And I put it on one platform and it was like, it was cool. Not in that type of clip, those moments like that, I really don't do it for the views. And I didn't make it for the, like, oh, you click on it. No, like I put right there and I was like, dude, this is what we do the podcast for, is for moments and memories like this for people so they can share. But also for the interviewee, they also have that to put, and share it all over the place. And maybe they said it right here for the first time, but or maybe we're thinking it, but they actually got to say it and put it in words. So it's more of doing it like that as opposed to just clicks, But I put it on on Instagram on one page. It's it's doing its thing, and then it was weird. I put it on put a YouTube short up, and YouTube Shorts, and went up to like 20 something K.
Really?
And it was like a bunch of. Bro, and I got like 50-something new subscribers from it and everything.
Wow.
And then, but what I Joe's a little tipsy. Maybe he don't remember this, but I was showing him I go, bro, look at Trip Out in this. People in the comments were like, they're like, wow, so happy for that this guy, whoever he is, he had to have that moment. Definitely giving him a follow. And I'm so happy for this. This person did this and that, So I really appreciate those moments as opposed to looking for, numbers and analytics.
You just don't know what the algorithm is going to pull. And a lot of people like realness these days. Exactly. So I'm pretty sure people who watch that resonated with it. And that's, I don't know how, I don't get the algorithm. I don't get it. But it works in your favor sometimes and sometimes it doesn't.
Yes, that's a fact.
Just keep pushing. Don't, it's easy to get discouraged because you're like, dang, this post did great. And then this one. So, but yeah.
I think it is also, at the end of the day, it does come down to what you said. It's just the realness. People appreciate that more. That's why a lot of us love people like Cardi B. That's why we love La Russell. I always somehow find a way talking about him in every episode, but it's just the realness of things, Yeah. And it's just, we naturally gravitate towards that, and it's authenticity breeds longevity. And like I said, I think people are going to naturally gravitate to you if you're being yourself, because when you're not, like, you could tell.
People could feel it. You could feel it. And so, I mean, it works out for some people, but it doesn't work out. It's not, there's no real longevity in it. It may work out in the moment, what they call 15 minutes of fame.
Right. Yeah. And it's also background too. Like I also like these conversations that we're able to have because it's background. It's getting to know a person, and for you being a model, and it's like, I'm sure I'm not 100% sure, but people might bring up your page and then just be like, oh, a model. Oh, like, oh, look at she makes music, or she has a clothing brand. And but they don't see
the real. Sometimes I don't like to tell people that I actually model. Like when people ask what I do, because there's this stigma of like, I don't know, it just gets weird, when you tell people you model for a minute. I think we were talking about like imposter syndrome. And sometimes I have that where I'm like, I don't want to talk about it, even though I've done great things and I made a lot of money, but I don't want to talk about those things because like I get judged when it's like, oh, okay, you're a model, but it's like, no, I actually do that because I love it, but there's this other side of me that's real and raw. Like I've grinded for everything that I have. Never asked for. I don't have a rich father, or no offense to people who I wish I did.
Yeah, me too.
But
I would.
You know, so there's this thing where it's like no personality. People think models don't have any personalities, and it's like, nah, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a fact, and it's also, like I said, coming from your background, when the people don't get the fair share of knowing the person, and that's also the benefits of having podcasts and stuff like that, as opposed to like a 10-minute interview here, or no offense against to like IG lives or something like that, but it's these moments, where you could just be yourself and talk about these things, and people get to know you more, and also it's a win-win too, because then people could be like, nah, you know what, she's really dope. Like she's dope on Instagram, but she's actually a dope person on Instagram. I mean, in real life too. You know what I mean? So it's those moments that that we were curious about, and that's what I was excited about having you on too, because I was just like, bro, I want to see what's up. So here's another one too that I was interested in. What are, and I know you touched on a few, but what are like the biggest common misconceptions you get
as far as the model?
As far as being a model.
Stuck up. Pretty privileged. That one is frustrating because it's like, I mean, these days you don't have to be like whatever pretty or perfect to be a model, but it's like people are like, oh, you're probably stuck up or whatever. And it's like, that's the complete opposite. Or that things got handed to you, or you had to do certain things to get to a certain place. And it's like, that's not like that for everybody. So that one for sure is kind of like when I tell people I model, because everyone does it these days, it's just kind of like a brush off the shoulder, like, cool. Anyway, so, and it's like, okay, I don't even get a chance to
break it down.
Yeah, to explain what I do or how, I don't even get to get anywhere because they just put me in a box with the rest of the models.
Damn. So like, as you're saying that, they're already like, they're not listening to you to listen. They're listening with already like a preconceived notion or something in their head. Like, they're already like, judging. Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah,
so sometimes people ask, and I'll make up anything like,
oh yeah, I'm just here.
I work in a library.
Right, yeah.
I'm a librarian.
I'm just here.
Just here living life. So.
No, I definitely understand that, and so I don't know if this is a fair comparison or not, but to kind of relate to it, from like my perspective, is I used to do this kind of the same thing when I talk about being in the military. So for a while, when I would meet people, I would just meet them at from face value, like, yo, this is me, and this is me out of the military. And I remember a lot of times they would look at me and be like, oh, man, I bet he's a stuck up. I bet he's this and that, blah, blah. And then it'd be like, man, he looks, because they would literally be like, oh, it's like, this Mexican dude from Cali. He's probably like a gangbanger. He's probably this and that, right? And then like a friend of a friend or somehow they'll find out like, oh, he was in the military. And all of a sudden, it just switches up. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, man, I had no idea you were, blah, blah. And
that happens like to me, like people I tell them, oh, yeah, I model. And they'll be, like I said, not interested. And then they'll follow me. Like, let's just follow each other. And then out of nowhere, it's like, they love everything I do. Yeah,
all of a sudden they want to put an Instagram thing with you.
They're proud of me. And I don't take any, like, anybody who supports me, I'm grateful. Like, especially if it's good intention, which I'm grateful to have, like, the support base that I have just through, not even just social media, but in real life, my family, my friends, and all that. But
that's a bar. Not just in real life, people support me.
Real life.
That's a bar.
Yeah. No, I'm grateful. And God supports me. He's literally my leader. He tells me, I ask him and he either tells me yes or no. So, and I have to work for it. But so it definitely gets frustrated to kind of have to prove myself. But I learned, like, as I get older, obviously you get wiser, and that's a true thing. And I just realized, like, whoever's for me will be for me. Like, I don't have to prove Deja to nobody because God knows who Deja is. I know who Deja is. So I don't need to prove. I always treat people with respect. I'm like, even people who are rude to me, I'm going to, not give that same energy. So whoever's for me is for me. And if they're interested, they're interested. If not, they're not. So that took me a lot to learn, especially in this industry. And I was talking to my older sister about this, where like people... I would see certain models like be like this, like instantly they meet and click, but certain people I didn't click like that with them, and I didn't know why, and I just would like, what am I doing wrong? Is it me? Did I say something? And I just learned, like,
if it don't click, it don't click.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be. Like,
it don't work. Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can't focus on the negative parts because then you'll just look at life so negative, and you just kind of have to, like, okay, well, that didn't work out for me, or that person isn't meant to be in my life. So I'll focus and put my energy on the people that care about me.
Yeah, no, that's true. And you know, not to keep saying it too, but like I keep saying your lane too, but for what you do, I'm sure that's like you get a lot of people that, you know, come and go, and a lot of people that will kind of, you know, hate a little bit, and you'll get a lot of people that maybe want what you have, and, you know, stuff like that. So it's kind of like weeding out, you know, sorting out and figuring out. Sure. Hopefully, there's no snakes in the grass, you know, stuff like that. But I'm sure it's you know, there's a lot to that.
Yeah, it's tough.
But I wanted to touch also on the Georgia background, because we talked about it a little bit.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We're talking about Georgia.
Very random.
How that came about. So you were saying, was it Macon?
Yeah.
So how did you end up there?
My mom just loved to move. Like, when I tell you, I've gone to 4 different high schools, 3 different elementary schools, middle schools. She just randomly, I don't even, I need to ask her. That's a great question, because, and it's funny because we were there for maybe like 6 months. She hated it. And then we moved back to somewhere else. So she moved to Delaware. I was in 8th grade, like the middle of my 8th grade year. She pulled me out of school and we moved to Delaware. Yeah.
She gonna do it like that?
I had to start all over. I had to start high school with all these people that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was a new girl every I was always the new girl.
Yeah.
So.
That's cold.
Tough. Yeah, it was.
You're about to graduate in 4 months, but we're gonna move over here.
Literally, like,
hey, yo,
you gotta go. So yeah, it was the middle of school. So luckily, like, you know, I've found welcoming people and stuff, but I've always been the new girl, which has helped me in my career. I feel like, because it's easy for me to adapt to new environments or meet new people and to chat with new people. So
that's dope.
But
also, I feel like it's cool, I guess, culturally, you know what I mean? To be like, oh, I know what that's like. Oh, you know over there? Yeah, that spot's cool. Hey, you know the spot over here? Yeah, I've been there. You know what I mean? So there's definitely some, you know, positives, some good takeaways for that.
Yeah.
And in the opposite, or the other half of that is, you know, I've had people who've been like, bro, I've never left this spot, you feel me? Or they've only lived in. I know, I got homies of mine that literally have never been outside the state of California.
Wow, I know some people like that too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my mom, not to throw you under the bus, mama, but she's always saying, she's like, I never been outside of Cali, and I was like, well, we've been to Mexico. What do you mean? We went to Mexico. She's like, well, I'm talking about like
outside,
Cali. My bad. I was like, you know,
East Coast.
But I get it though, and I was like, yeah. I was like, you know, there are people like that, you know, and I've been all over the place, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get to, you know, kind of get in that melting pot and be around all that, you know what I'm saying? And living at these places too, it's cool. But, you know, but I found home base here in Sac, damn near 10 years
Sac,
now being right here.
Wow. I love Sac. It definitely feels like a second home. But yeah, I used to hate the fact that we moved so much and all that, but now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, it's actually cool. I've met so many great people. I've seen so many things. I've done so many things at my young age. Like,
oh, yeah.
Countless.
When you look back, it goes back to what we were talking about later in life, when we're going to look back and reflect, and we're going to see all that, you know, and the people, and it's definitely a cool thing. You know, it's crazy too, because, like, you know, it's crazy because there's people out there. It breaks my heart
that never
to know that there's people out there that don't believe in us.
We gotta laugh at that.
I was just watching the DJ Khaled shit, like the stuff that he was doing, and I was just like, yo, that moment. Anyway, shout out Speedy.
It's actually funny, because I was gonna bring that up. Like, when I first started modeling, I have family members who would laugh, and like, I would be like, literally in my face, like, oh, I'm about to, like, what are you about to do? I'm like, I'll have a photo shoot. And they would literally, like, I remember it vividly in my head, start cracking up. And I was just like, I remember just feeling like,
mad disrespectful,
like,
right?
smacked in the face, because I was young.
Yeah.
No one in my family has pursued like a modeling career. I didn't have any like role models like Naomi Campbell, and like all of them were my role models. Yeah. So that wasn't a thing in my family, but it was definitely like people would laugh at me.
Damn. Well, who's laughing now?
I know. Now they just love. They're so proud, and I'm grateful. Thank you for being proud of me. Thank you, because I have worked hard. So it is funny when you think about it, because it's like, you do have to have that DJ Khaled mentality when you're an entrepreneur and when you're pursuing a big dream, because there's people who are like, you, yeah, right. And then it's like, oh, okay. Let's talk. Let's have this conversation.
Add more fuel to the fire.
Yeah, let's visit this again. So
that's true. No, I think it's all, like I said, it's the hard work that always prevails. You know, you can't deny that. You're at where you're at for a reason.
Right.
You already put in the effort. You're already doing 50% more than half the population out there. You know, you're taking a risk. You're gambling on yourself. You're betting on yourself. You're, taking everything in the grass of your own hands. You're not, shouts out to them, but you're not over here, begging for money. You're not over here coming from
looking for a handout.
Right, handouts and everything. And I think that's super cool. And it's also why, I get motivated to do this and have these conversations, because it's you realize that in life there's a lot of people doing and striving for something, you know. And it's like, what are you doing to stand out? You know, what are you doing to stay consistent? You know
I literally ask those are questions I ask myself, because it's easy to get complacent and comfortable, and you're like, or get discouraged and you don't. So true. In that same it's easily to, as much as you could big yourself up, it can be easily to come right down,
right, because then it's like, now I'm gonna bring you back down to reality and everything. And so I definitely been there too. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure we all have.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a thing.
It's a thing, and but there's it's a good thing to be able to interact like this.
I love this. What you're doing is really dope, because it gives people the opportunity to, just like you said, show their self, or to have a voice, because it's like I said, modeling with a pretty privilege or not having a personality, when I have a huge personality, like maybe sometimes a little bit too much personality. So that's I appreciate you bringing me on and having this conversation. So.
You might be out here partying for like 3 days straight. You know what I mean? Was it a bit? Were we sipping a bit? 3 days straight. I don't know.
Did I have a hangover today? Maybe. I don't know.
But it's like, it's a cool hangover to have when you think about what you're doing and everything.
Yeah, for sure. The hard work, and to see that, and the energy to be around that. Yeah.
Was that your first time right there at Tiger?
No, I've been to Tiger probably 40 times.
Really? Damn. Okay.
Always at Tiger. Tiger is the place. Okay, Sac. You're in Sac, go to Tiger and try their chicken wings, because have you had their chicken wings? You be getting
the chicken wings everywhere, huh? That's like the go-to? It's like the go-to for the chicken wings? And of course I had the chicken wings.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. They are amazing, those chicken wings. And I think they have like these oyster mushrooms. I don't know if they still sell them, but they were like fried oyster mushrooms with buffalo sauce. I'm a foodie, I know.
You're gonna knock me for this, but I don't really like
the wings.
No, I don't. Not theirs, but I'm not a big seafood.
Okay.
So the oysters kind of like, I don't know if I hit it wrong.
No, they're mushrooms. They're not seafood. They're mushrooms.
Okay.
But they're called oyster mushrooms because they're big, and they're like, they kind of taste like chicken if you cook them right.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So it's good for like vegans or people who don't eat. Because I was pescatarian for 3 years up until last year.
How was that?
It was cool. It started off as like a bet, like, let's eat healthy and not eat meat for 30 days. And then it turned into 3 years. So I only eat chicken and meat. So, I mean, chicken and seafood. Okay. So when I had those oyster mushrooms at Tiger, I wasn't eating chicken yet. So.
You were like, this
is a great supplement. So, it's great. It's great. So.
I thought I don't know. Maybe I heard wrong, but I thought you said oysters, and I was like, ooh.
I love those too.
Do you really?
I love oysters.
How do you have them? Like when you do order them?
Or hot or warmed up, and you just squeeze some lemon on there. They'll already either have like, there's this other place out here called Crew. Amazing oysters. They come like cold on ice, and they have like this, I don't remember the name of it's like chili. They have like this chili sauce that you put on it with squeeze some lime or lemon.
See, let me tell you when I had it. So it was one of my homies, Juno. His name is Juno, right? And they were doing it on a grill, like a barbecue. But they brought this shit like I was confused because I had never really seen it like that. And they brought this shit like in a bag, and they were like putting it on the grill, whatever, and then they were like, oh, yeah, you're going to have this one. And he's Filipino. Okay. So they were doing like some, like the hot, whatever the house, like the spice was like in a small little bowl. That's how you know that shit's going to be hot. Because it was like, so he was whipping it, and then he was like, try it. And I was like, I don't do good with spices too much. I know I'm Mexican. I don't even, And I tried it and I was like, this ain't it, bro. Like,
yeah, was it the texture?
It wasn't, like, it just felt weird. Just going, it felt like I was like swallowing a loogie. And I was like, no, bro. I was like, I
can understand that. Yeah, the texture is not for everyone. It's really
nah. But I never tried the one on ice, so maybe that'll be the one.
Maybe not.
Maybe nah.
Just stay away because they all. Yeah, it's not gonna work unless it's fried. If it's fried, then it's easier to chew.
Okay. And I think at the end of the day, it comes back to like just not liking seafood like that. Like I'm talking about, I don't even like fish sticks.
Really? Grew up on those.
My mom would make all the time, and I'd be like, maybe that's why though. Maybe that's why I don't like it because I was like, growing up on that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, when because like I used to hate like mayo because my mom would just make sandwiches, and something about mayo I just hate.
Yeah, I don't like
that. So whenever or Miracle Whip.
What? Bruh, hold on. I don't think we could talk about food because I'm also a foodie. And that's why I fast so much and everything, and so I can be a foodie. Exactly. And that's why we have a workout stuff right here too, so I can keep it down for all the food stuff that I be eating.
Important.
But that's like literally a whole nother episode that we can get into for just food stuff, and maybe that's one that we could do. Try food next time.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
In LA,
like a little mukbang.
Right. Try some stuff. So that's definitely one to keep to for. But okay, so Georgia, Philadelphia, Delaware, Tacoma. So I have family in Washington, and the only places that I've been to is in the Tri-City area with Kennewick and Seattle. Those are the only two places. Kennewick is like
it's like a small.
It's like right just north of the border, like right when you're going Oregon and then Washington. They call it. From what I remember, because I was like 13 years old at the time. And it was like, we're in, like, I remember watching it. I mean, like seeing like the signs and then hearing on the radio, the local radio, they're like, 1017, the Tri-City area, whatever.
So you
and
just
so
kept your memory.
But it was in Kennewick. So at that little area. And then now in LA. So am I missing anywhere else?
Yep. Well, Georgia, Jersey, Delaware.
That's one.
Yeah, we've literally lived all over. But I do want to go and live in Mexico for a good 6 months. I love Mexico.
Really?
I love it. I've been to Tulum.
To live?
Yeah, I would.
Ooh, even me, I'm like, bro, I don't know if I can live.
Cabo. Like,
okay. I thought you were talking about like TJ or some shit like that. Like she's gonna go to Tijuana or something like that.
You
need
not the real Mexico, I guess.
Right.
It's the vacay.
We just went to what was it? Was I talking to you about it too? Because we were Cancun.
Oh, Cancun.
Yeah, Cancun. Yeah, we were in Cancun. But you went to Cabo,
Tulum, Cancun.
That's what we wanted to go to first. Initially was Tulum, and then they told us, they're like, all right, because we had homies who went before. They're like, all right, so let me break it down for y'all.
Tulum, you said your friend was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe that makes sense why Atlanta and all that. But
so we flew from LAX to Cancun, and then there's a 2-hour drive from Cancun to Tulum. So you do have to drive. Like you can't fly into Tulum yet.
Yeah. At least you got the 2-hour part right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Tulum. So was Tulum? Was it cool though? Was it a good experience?
Tulum was amazing. There was this hotel that I actually partnered with called Kan, Kan. It's in the jungle. It's just gorgeous. Like literally, it's so secluded, but you feel like you're out of the country. Like it's gorgeous.
I think I know which one you're talking about because that was one of them that we were looking.
Really?
It was like that one and like some Ritz-Carlton, I think, something like that.
Oh, okay. That's like a normal.
And it was just like, but there was limited ones. So it was that. I remember seeing one of them like that. And I remember I was just like, yo, let's do this one. And they were like, we want beach, we want the sand. And I was like, I'm sure it's there too. You know what I mean?
So drive. But we do a lot of Airbnbs. So
yeah.
Which they were like $30 a night for like nice Airbnbs. Yeah. So
when we went to Cancun, so they're big, and I get it too. They were like, all right, we got to get the all inclusive, we got to get the adults only. But even though there was kids there too, so it didn't even being adults only. But we want a 4-star minimum. And I'm like, all right, I get it. And then when you start to see that check run up, you feel me? And then
you're like, wait a second.
And you know what? Look, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'll say this quickly, and we'll get back on topic. But I'll get to this quick. But because we haven't talked about it fully in depth yet on the episode. So okay, really quick. So we book it like 2 months in advance. We have our passports, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you good with yours? She's like, yeah, I got my passport. And I'm like, cool, I got mine. Everything's good to go. We packed, got everything planned out. We're leaving, our son with grandma and grandpa, my sister's going to watch him. Like, it's just, everything's set.
Yes, right.
We get to the airport, packed, smooth, good. Boom. We go.
Don't tell.
He goes, okay, passports. Boom.
Oh, I knew you was good.
I got it. Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
We got that. Here's. And then she gives him the guy passport, and he goes, oh, this isn't going to work. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, this is the card. You need the book.
Oh, you have a passport card too?
I have the book.
Oh, you're
Lily got the card.
Oh.
And I go, what do you mean? Like, we've used this before to go to Mexico.
Right.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, this isn't, and he goes, yeah, but how'd you guys go? Like, well, we went on a cruise. They're like, oh, this is only valid for land and sea.
Oh.
I was like, so you can't
Just
fly.
Cruises.
So I'm like, well, so what do you mean? And he's like, well, she's not gonna be able to go. And I was like, so this was like $2,000. What do you mean? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like,
did you guys go back and get it?
Here's the thing. So again, we've been wanting to talk about it like in detail. We just haven't had the chance, but I'll say it quick. Basically, it was like, can go, and it was like we could look into emergency passports, San Francisco, find the next flight to go here. Boom, you have to apply for it. You might have to submit this, you have to submit that. What's another option? Well, we can connect you to a sister airline that can take you here, but you might lose it a day. And I was like, bro, the hotel's already been booked though.
Yeah,
we're supposed to check in like by the night, and then that's not gonna happen. So I'm like, well, what are we gonna do? And then it was just like, she was just like, you know what, you just go because you're gonna go with your friends. And you don't want to miss out on the money and everything. I was like, I'm not going to go without you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like, if I lose it, I lose it. I'm not going to go without you. And then we ended up making I'm talking about like all these phone calls. And then in the end, I was just like, you know what? She's like, no, seriously, like you're going to lose out on the money if you don't go. And then I was like, all right, fuck it. You know what? I'm not even going to take a bag. I'm just going to take my charger and I'll buy clothes down there. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go. And I was like, nah, I can't. And it was like too late anyway. And I was like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So we ended up and then I go, okay, can you at least fly us to San Diego, LA, SoCal, something like that? And it was with United. No, was it United? Yeah, no. Or, yeah, I forget which one. But they're like, oh, no, we don't have an airline down there. And I was like, fuck.
Oh, so she never had a pass. She only had
the card. And it's only valid for land and sea, not air. So then I go, okay.
That is unfortunate.
So we go, okay, what are we going to do? So we drove from Sacramento all the way down to San Diego or San Isidro, which is right outside of the border. Mm-hmm. Met my dad right there because he lives down there. Met my dad. He drove us to the border. Mm-hmm. We walked through the border, met with my uncle who lives in Tijuana. He picked us up, drove us to the airport. We had bought tickets to fly from Tijuana to Cancun because right there, when you're in that country, when you're in Mexico, country, you don't need a passport because you're flying within the same country. So you just have to have your ID. We paid $500 more, but we lost out on a day. But we made it, so we get to Cancun like 5 a.m. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about I'm barely any sleep. We finally get there, but then we run the risk of, oh crap, we didn't do a COVID test.
Oh,
so are we gonna be stuck? Mm-hmm. Did we lose our room already because we didn't check in the first night? And then it was like, and are we sure we're going to be able to come back in?
Yeah.
Because we could, like, how are we going to go through the border to come back in the U.S. with only
the card?
We should be good, though. And my uncle's like, no, you're good. You're going to fly back here. And he's like, and then you're going to do the same thing, but backwards. I'm going to pick you up from the airport, and you're just going to walk through. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to go through the car. That's not going to check you. And so we're risking hella stuff, So anyway, we go through the trip. Everything goes smooth. And then now it's like, all right, first hurdle done. Second, we got to come back. And I'm talking about our flight was delayed. We made it back. We walked through. It was like midnight, and we're finally back in Cali.
Dang.
And then
didn't even enjoy the vacation.
Right, it was 4 days rush. Got hella faded the first night. Gone.
I was too.
I lost wallet, everything. But we got it back.
Okay.
But that was just a quick summary of that trip. Sorry, I just had to I never really talked about it.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
We had a lot of. Can I share the bank?
Big bank.
So we were in really quick. We were in.
Okay.
Where were we? Playa del Carmen?
Okay, yeah, I know
And
that.
we were headed back from Tulum to Cancun to take our flight. And so there was a lot of traffic. We had luggage in the car, and Chim does not play about like stuff in his car. He doesn't play about it. So I had to wait in the car. He pulled over to the side of the street, like on the street, to go in the ATM to take some money out. So he's like rushing because I'm in the car. There's people honking because we're in the side of the street.
Right.
So he rushes out to me, and then he gets a text on his phone like, "Did you just did you just try to take out $500?" And he's like, "Oh wait, I didn't try to take out $500."
Yeah.
He left his card. Somebody got him for $500. Like this, like he literally just walked out.
Yeah.
And he got a notification, and someone took $500.
Damn.
And then on our way back from Tulum. Our way back from Cancun, Cabo, we missed our flight because we were jet skiing.
Hey, sometimes you got to go jet skiing.
It was his idea, and we missed our flight. So, there's a lot of memories with Mexico.
Okay. And maybe that's why you want to go back for 6 months, you said, yeah?
Yeah, just to learn the language and just kind of,
And you could do it without having to, get your card stolen. My bad.
There's a lot of experience now. We're good now.
Okay. So. That'd be fun though too. I've also I had a cousin of mine who, what do they call it when you go to we studied abroad?
I was about to say that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you studied abroad. So my cousin, he was in high school. He went to Germany for a while.
Nice.
And I was always jealous.
I'd always want to do that.
I was like, bro, you went to Germany?
They get taken care of. They get housing, money.
And then the high school that I went to, they had people come in too, and there was like people from like Ecuador, people from Spain, people from Denmark, all these places, and I've always been like, bro, this is hella cool. Like, you know what I mean? To like go experience a whole nother society, a whole nother culture, right? So it's like, it's a thing, and it's also cool to just get out of this, you know what I mean? Get out of
the world is so big, like there is, like my dad, for instance, he's from Philadelphia. He's only been to Philadelphia and like New York, like close by places from Philly, and then Washington. Like he's never been to Cali. He's never been out the country.
Wow.
Nothing. So his perspective of life is not, as big because he's been stuck in this shell in his hometown. So been trying to encourage him, but it's so important to go and see the world if you can. And these days it's easier to kind of like, now they have where you can make payments on flights.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to go see the world. So
does he call sodas pops?
My dad?
Yeah.
No, he's really hood.
Okay.
He's kind of
okay. Yeah.
So,
okay, I just say because when I was in Washington too, they'd be like, "Can I get a pop?" And I'd be like, "What the fuck is that?"
Yeah, Philly, their language is definitely very
stank ass John. Come on now, I've heard that.
Them Johns, get them Johns out of here.
Yeah. Okay, beards and Tims.
Yeah, definitely. He's lost his hair, but he loves his Tims.
Me too. I got mine too. I'm not even from Philly, but I love mine too. So I guess I can't say anything. But yeah, it is important to just, to get out like that. And I'm sure with your career, I'm sure you're going to be all over the place. And
that's the goal.
Internationally I bet I could see that for you. And,
thank you.
I don't like to tell people about, I don't like to say, the sky's the limit, or I just feel like you're capping yourself at that when you say the sky's the limit.
Yeah, because you can go past.
You can go past that. You know
Mars,
what I mean? And it's also, I'm like, bro, I'll go everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely, there I go trying to say it. There is no ceiling for you, is in other words what I'm trying to say. And, I'm hopeful that, people can understand you more with this and get your personality to come out more. And maybe start a podcast of your own. You never know.
Or have me again.
You never know. Repeat it, and
I'll
then
come back.
I'm down for the food one too.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
And I'll pull up to LA too. And
I
could do one.
Cool.
I could do one with I'm a licensed. This is true too. I'm a licensed marriage couple counselor.
Are you really?
No. But
that's interesting.
No, hell no. I wouldn't be doing podcasting if I was. Nah, but it'd be cool even when I pull up to LA to do one like with us three, you know what I mean? And
that would be really cool.
Yeah, we could chop it up because there's a spot, like I said, that I like using when I'm down there. And down for the food one, and maybe you could show me those marketplaces thingies that I was talking about that I'm like lost with. Maybe I just didn't get the name right.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe you do know something that I don't know. So try
There
to
is
figure
something.
that
Yeah,
out.
I gotta hit it. I saw it somewhere on IG, and I was like, "This is what one of my homies was telling me about." It was something pop
There's
ups.
so many. There,
Yeah,
like
it's
the
something.
Melrose.
Yeah, something pop up. So I'll look into it more. But yeah. So I'm glad that we had this conversation.
Me too.
Hopefully people will like stop with the stigmas and the the preconceived notions and everything.
It's not gonna happen, but it's okay. Yeah. Like
at least it stops with
give
you.
people a chance to kind of speak for themselves instead of you judging them. We all have to work on that. We meet people and we're like, but it's like, and then you have a conversation and you're like, wow, this person's cool. Mm-hmm. Or it could be the opposite. You meet somebody you think they're cool and they're actually not. So.
Yeah.
But it's cool. But yeah, thank you. I would tell anybody watching this, stay consistent and persistent. Stay on your toes. Don't let nobody tell you no. And it's really important to kind of know yourself, to know what you want. Because we end up with social media. I was just thinking about this. We end up like following other people's dreams and pursuing other people's dreams because we see it. Like I said with the Air Force thing, it's like, I wanted to go to the Air Force because I saw my family do it, but that wasn't really my ambition. Right. So, yeah, just, keep going, keep working, and it's all going to work out for you.
Of course.
One day at a time. And keep God first. Period.
God did. Khaled. But also, so if for people who, want to collaborate with you and want to reach out to you and maybe they have some projects in mind that they want to work with you with and everything, tell them where they could reach you and how they could reach you and all that.
Yeah, for sure. The best way to reach me, I only have an Instagram, which is Deja Janea _ and that's, you probably should I spell it out?
Right here. I'll put
That'll be right there. Deja Janea _ So yeah, just reach out to me, send me a DM, or you can send me an email, which is attached to my page. But I'm always looking to work. I'm always looking to meet new people.
Dope.
I love new things. So yeah, hit me up.
Hey, let's go.
Yay, I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Thank you again. Don't be afraid to reach out. And thank you again, like I said, for coming on here, and shouts out to Chim for like setting this up, and happy for y'all. And Oakland was really cool. This was really cool. Shout out to the babysitter. Don't
be canceling on. Can't do that.
Come on now. But so I always like to end this thing with just saying, y'all stay safe, peace. But I'll give you the liberty of doing it. Come on now.
What?
Y'all stay safe, and I go peace.
All right, y'all stay safe.
Peace.